Hey friends, family, my name is Skylent, and we got a new game to talk about. Yeah, so in these videos, I mostly give my opinion, but I'm gonna give you a rundown on what the game is like, or like, you know, my assumption of it, because I don't actually know. These are upcoming games that look exciting to me, and one that I think it's got me on the hype train. It's called Frozen Flame. And I'm gonna say this, but please watch the rest of the video. It is a fantasy, survival game. It's a survival game. But, you know, moving forward from that, it actually looks really unique in a lot of ways, and I think it's going to be really good. We've seen that before, we've heard that before, and so we got to take everything with a grain of salt. That's true. I get it, guys. I'm going to be critical too. I will lay down my opinion as well, but for the most part, I'm not talking about this unless, you know, it looks pretty cool to me, and it does. Okay, but there's been other games that have looked cool, that have seemed like they were going to have really good mechanics, and then for one reason or another, it all falls apart. I totally get it, but let's give it the benefit of the doubt. Let's keep the hype alive, and let's give this game a try. So, Frozen Flame. Immediately, this is from a developer I've never heard of, but apparently they sprung up in 2015, so they're called Dreamside Interactive. Let's go ahead and talk about these, because this game is going to be launching as, yes, an early access game. Yes, it's going to be an early access survival game, but it will be early access, so we should look maybe at the developers, their credibility, stuff like that. I don't know, but Dreamside Interactive, they do got a website, and it looks like they're making a couple of games. They're making Frozen Flame, which is multiplayer survival RPG. That's cool. They've also got an unannounced game, which is multiplayer survival horror. Okay, and then they have this other one that looks really cute. It's supposed to be a multiplayer sandbox. I don't know if that's what that's going to be like. It looks kind of Halloween-y. Anyways, it looks kind of Don't Starve inspired. But anyways, it looks like these guys like sandbox and survival style games, and that's good. So they do have a focus, but they are making a couple of games that they're producing. And the first one, though, is Frozen Flame. So that's the one we're going to be talking about. It looks like this studio is pretty serious about making games, but it might be a case of just seeing what sticks. So it's almost like they're making a couple games at the same time and just, you know, which one works. But, you know, a couple of other studios have done that. I think most studios are going to approach game design like that from now on. So I don't think that's a wrong way to make things, but as a games as a service, and especially looking at an early access game, do we want another game that's going to be abandoned and stuff like that? Because when you buy into early access, you're kind of expecting the game to be finished one day. Anyways, that's just my concern, but at least it's not like a bunch of random different games. They are kind of focused on a theme. So Frozen Flame, being created early access, survival game. I know a lot to be weary of, but hopefully, you know, the footage looks cool enough to get you on my side at least. So let's go ahead and talk about this game and why I'm looking forward to it. So immediately, I'm just going to say, I think the graphics look really cool, but there's been some other games that have looked like this that have totally failed, such as Rend, Worlds Adrift. You know, there's been a few survival or, you know, sandboxy style games that have looked really cute and clean and cool, and, well, they pooped and they didn't actually perform. But anyways, I do like that it's a fantasy-themed game. I do like what they're kind of talking about with this game, but we're going to go and analyze it a little bit deeper, and we're going to do like a preview reaction kind of thing. So what is Frozen Flame? Let's jump into it. Frozen Flame is a multiplayer survival action RPG, so they're not claiming to be an MMO, and I actually think that's really freaking good. Focus on, you know, kept multiplayer or, you know, kind of like smaller 12-player, 24-player servers. You can have a lot of fun instead of trying to spread everything too thin. Explore and conquer the mysterious world of dragons. Straight up, dragons. And there are going to be, it looks like, some larger monster fights in this game. Can't wait to see those. I love giant monster fights. I'm a Monster Hunter kind of player, Dark Souls, stuff like that. Love me some big monsters. I'm rewatching Attack on Titan right now, keeping the hype alive. And then what the rest they say for their description on Steam does have me a little bit worried. So can we just talk about this? It says, master the magic of flame. Okay, neat, I guess. So mostly pyromancy kind of stuff. I don't know, you could be creative with fire magic. I think we've all by now have seen Fire Force. That's what it's called. Anyways, I thought Fire Force was really B-rated, but anyways, craft and customize weapons. Sure, I don't know why that's really in the tag. Most games do that. Maybe it's going to be in depth. Build your own shelter. I don't know, shelter? Shelter's not really awe-inspiring, especially in a fantasy universe. I guess maybe when they say shelter, it's going to be really a survival game proper. I don't know, most people would say kingdoms even, or castles and stuff like that, or territories, towns. Shelter? Anyways, unite with other players to stop the cursed creatures. Anyways, I don't know. They had me at the first half, but it seems very vague and generic, you know, and that's on the main Steam tagline, you know? So this, in a lot of ways, seems generic, even though I know fantasy survival games are, Well, now I guess they are becoming dime a dozen. There's been a few, right? Like Dark and Light, Citadel, Forge and Fire. Yeah, there's been a few, but this one looks cute. We've had a few like that as well. Anyways, so this one I think is up and coming, and it is still looking exciting, but it's not like all of my fears are quelled, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, let's look more about the game. You can actually see that they've won some awards. They just seem like really vague, you know, participation awardy kind of things. Maybe not, I don't know. Anyways, let's go ahead and peer a little bit deeper into the game. So, it's going to be focused on defeating epic bosses, and I think there's going to be dragons and stuff like that. There's going to be dozens of dangerous monsters in a fast-paced third-person action combat game like this. I guess that's what they want. They say fast-paced. I don't know if I really like when games kind of self-critique themselves, but it's supposed to be fast-paced third-person combat, and really that can mean like anything from like Gears of War, I guess, to, you know, Fortnite and stuff like that, I guess, and even Guild Wars 2. I mean, what kind of I mean, you can obviously see the combat, but I don't know, they could have been more descriptive. It's entirely possible that this was very lightly translated, so keep that in mind. A lot of my nitpicks are going to be just kind of the language they use, just because it's not as descriptive. But then again, a lot of other consumers are going to look at this and be like, this sounds generic, and we have to work really hard to see what's special about the game, which doesn't have much footage at all. So anyways, you're going to be exploring a constantly changing open world, many hazards to overcome, and secrets to find, whatever that freaking means. There's going to be flexible crafting and leveling systems offering great replayability. Replayability? Anyways, this is the world you want to visit again and again. That's what they say. So hopefully, you know, I'm really tired of talking about hope in a lot of these games. Basically, it could be anything. The flame is the source of magical power, so pyromancy, boys, which you can use to develop your character. So that's probably going to start with things simple torches, lighting abilities likely, and then moving forward, which I guess actually a lot of survival games just have anyways. And conjure powerful magic. High-level players are able to build entire settlements. I like that. Settlements. Tame wild creatures. Ooh, taming. A lot of people really want to play with taming. So yeah. Explore new lands. Oh, that probably means new biomes and stuff like that. And dungeons. There are going to be dungeons. I like that dungeons might be a focus in this kind of game. A lot of these titles don't do dungeons right. And this is going to sound weird, but 7 Days to Die actually might have the best dungeons I've played in a survival game. No, for real. If you haven't played it, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but it's like legit, like well-crafted, different sort of environments. I guess you can call them dungeons. Anyways, Adepts of PvP, what this game is going to be PvE and PvP, will be able to join orders and participate in their unending wars. I don't know, I think that might be arena-based. We'll see how that turns out, but each order offers unique quests and rewards. That sounds a lot. This actually sounds a little bit Souls-inspired, actually. The main game mode is the Cataclysm. So there's going to be multiple game modes. Survival is not the only goal. The world needs saving from utter destruction. I like that, actually. And recently there was a game, Population Zero, that tried to do something kind of like that, I think. But that game pooped. After each game cycle, player progress is partially saved, bringing the players closer to the final boss. That sounds exactly like Population Zero. And I don't think the concept of Population Zero was bad. I hyped it up. It's just the execution, right? So again, this game, it's got a pretty solid foundation. This one doesn't seem as far-reaching as that game. I think it could work. It could be doable. Of course, we have to play it. And of course, it's going to be early access. But I still really like that concept. It's why I really appreciated the game Rend, or the concept of Rend. It's why I was really looking forward to Crowfall, and I really like these ideas of these campaigns or limited time sort of instances where you have a week or maybe a month to kind of beat the game. I like that. I like that a lot. Some people don't like survival games where you have to reset progress. A lot of people really do actually like rebuilding, restarting, and kind of speedrunning the game. So anyways, there's going to be new game modes and worlds. They're planned for future updates. It's a little scary that this company's not only making multiple games, but they are making a game that also has multiple ways of playing. I think a lot of us now really just like, okay, one main game mode, maybe have a creative mode or something on the side, but for the most part, most players just play the main game mode. Let me know how you guys feel about multiple game modes in games today, because it seems to be kind of different from modern design philosophy. So it's possible to play on official, dedicated, oh, this is a big one, guys, this is a big one. Dedicated servers, up to 50 players online. That's really big, actually. That's really good. In fact, actually, I would debate that's an MMO. I got to make a video on it proving, but if you guys call Blue Protocol an MMO, which is 40 players online, and a lot of MMOs actually cap at 50 players for their MMO content, 50 players, that's an MMO to me. I would call this an MMO, shit. Anyways, And on with private, you can actually have, also this is the big thing though, actually, that wasn't the big part. The big part is that there will be private servers with custom settings. So you can host your own private servers with your own settings, tweaking and stuff like that. I know you guys like that. 7 Days to Die, Ark, Minecraft, all the games that do this. I love it. I really think more MMOs need to do this. And I got a whole rant video on that coming up too as well. Anyways, there's supposed to be a vast open world. Awesome. Filled with epic artifacts. I really do like when games mention that, but it is kind of vague, right? And there's going to be secrets to uncover. You're going to find memory shards to reacquire forgotten knowledge and recall the past. Yeah, so we're probably going to have like a tech tree. There's going to be some cool ancient artifact stuff like that. Not too uncommon. Last Oasis also debatably does something similar, kind of a little bit. Actually, the game, The World's Adrift tried to do that too. A few of these games kind of have this mechanic. Only a few humans and dragons were able to survive the destruction wrought by the impending cataclysm. So I guess there was a cataclysm, and then there's going to be another cataclysm, or it's like it's slowly just totally tearing apart the world, and basically not many people are left. Okay, so I'm here to meet various characters that will help you on your quest. Characters. So there might be NPCs and stuff like that. NPCs in a survival game, in a sandbox game. I wonder how they're going to do that. Are they going to be unkillable? Can you kill them? That's going to be interesting. Do they respawn? The world is filled with magic of flame, which offers unlimited possibilities, and it really does. Some people might think that's limited. Again, if you have seen Fire Force, you know that you could be really creative with fire magic. So use it to find your own path, unleash power of the ancients. That's it. Okay, that's super vague. Neat, I guess. Skip. The land remains cursed, though. The land is cursed. They actually have shown some gifs of creatures. It looks just like totally one-shotting some noob. Oh my god. So yeah, death is going to be a big freaking deal. The land remains cursed and is filled with monsters that have been driven mad by their obsession and thirst for the flame's unmatched power. The most dangerous creatures lurk in the depths of dark dungeons, where death awaits at every turn. Every enemy requires a unique approach, so kind of like puzzles. And even other players can become... Oh, whoa. I didn't... What? Other players can become cursed. I think that's a mechanic that's kind of was trying to be a thing in World of Warcraft. I don't know. Other players can become cursed. That could be cool. Does that mean like zombified? What does that exactly mean? Anyways, it's going to be mostly a cooperative game from what I can tell. Base building, stuff like that, working through dungeons. If that wasn't very clear, a lot of these survival games don't focus on PvE. Ark was kind of unique-ish for that, and really that's half and half. But this game is going to have a big PvE focus, and I'm sorry if I didn't mention that earlier, but you can play on your own. Okay, and it's probably going to be a neat experience. 7 Days to Die and a few others can be fun on your own, sure. But mostly it's going to come to life probably with a server working together to clear dungeons and beat the final boss and actually beat the game. In fact, that is so exciting that if this game is just decent on launch, I'll have my own private server and us as a community can actually run through it. It'd be great. So play on your own or with friends or join one of the orders. I don't know how the orders are going to work. I can hope and dream that it's like Dark Souls Covenants and you're going to be jumping between phases and invading people. That would be freaking amazing. Level up your reputation to unlock new opportunities. Each order has its own goals as well, like hunting for ancient artifacts, confronting other wanderers, and saving the scattered survivors of this dying world. And also, the orders might not just be PvP focused, it could be PvE focused. Like if there are quests and NPCs and just other things to kind of cooperate through in the world. Wouldn't be impossible. They're like the Warhorn is also another survival game that I talked about that tried to do stuff like that. So we'll see. Anyways, this game is going to have mature content, which is cool. So it's going to be, it's not going to be a kiddie game, even though it is cartoon. I'm looking forward to that. But that's pretty much what the Steam page just kind of spits out. It's a little bit vague, but at the same time, there's hints and teases there of some really fun mechanics. Now, I can't actually find a dedicated website to this game, but I can actually give you an aside here. This was actually a successfully funded game. So this was a campaigned game, and they reached 259% of their goal. So in the end, they were only asking for $50,000 to make probably a cute little game. They actually got about $130,000, which is, I think, pretty good to start an early access game. So I'm looking pretty forward to a couple of these things. Now, they didn't reach every goal ever. They did want to eventually release it on Xbox and PlayStation. This will be a PC game because we are talking about Steam and stuff like that. And they actually have some really cool concepts. So if this game continues to grow, because this is going to be a games as a service, kind of in a way, an online game, I would debate an MMO. Then, we can look forward at these stretch goals to see what they want to do. It looks like farming is not in the game from the start. That's pretty much every survival game ever for the most part. Farming and vendor stalls Oh, that would be amazing. I think it's really cool when people do that in Fallout. And just in games general, farming and vending is something that people really want. And I think this game, you know, with its cooperative-based focus, you know, with its taming and people would have literal farms. I think that would be really cool. But that is the next stretch goal. They need to make taming and mounts, which is in progress. And next, we might get farming and vendor stalls. But it looks like everything else is going to be really just additive. It's like a new game mode, new bosses. But I really do want to see farming and vendor stalls coming in. But it looks like that might not make the game until maybe post-launch. Anyways, so it looks pretty exciting. And if you look at the actual website for their funding and everything, it's pretty much the same features and stuff like that. However, you might have seen in the gameplay that there is actually gliding, and it looks like they're definitely taking inspiration. And I think just overall from the gameplay, just in general, it looks like the loop is going to be kind of similar actually to Breath of the Wild, which there actually is. I think there's a game called Towers, which is also kind of emulating this kind of concept too. I put that in my top 10 co-op, you know, survival game list, which I need to redo this year, and this game's going to make it too. So a lot of games are kind of following a trend, and I think, you know, I'm on board with this trend, and here's another game that's a part of that trend. Is it just going to be another one that fails? Is this going to be just another game? I hope not. I really hope not, because I'm really excited to play these style of games. But it looks really cool. I'm excited to see how the crafting goes. I'm excited to see what we can do with building and if it even matters at all. Like in a game like New World, the building actually matters because you got to defend against waves of monsters. That was also the case in Rend. And I'm sorry I'm name dropping so much for those who aren't in the loop. And if you guys want to stay in the loop, you can always, you know, you can always follow me, subscribe, all that good stuff. But yeah, I guess this is their flagship game, by the way. It does say this is their flagship game. This is going to be their focused game. It's coming out here. And it looks like the developers they've been working on games from, it looks like War Thunder potentially, maybe World of Tanks, stuff like that. They've also worked on Dota 2, some RPG, a couple of RPGs actually, even an MMO. It looks like these guys are kind of very well-rounded. And they're just kind of throwing their skills together for the survival game. Hopefully it turns out great, and hopefully there's no weird cash shop shit, especially seeing that some people come from, you know, wargaming as well as Gaijin. So anyways, it's going to be early access. We're going to pick it up. I don't know the price just yet. It's probably going to be like around 20 bucks. But all in all, just, you know, just glancing at this game, it looks exciting. I think the art style looks really cool, especially looking at the weapon sets. Like dual swords are going to be a thing. Actually, a lot of swords. I would like to see some spears. Is that a spear? I don't know what that is. I don't know. Pyromancy is my thing. That's what I do. Pyromancy is my boy. I like pyromancy, dual swords, dual sword pyromancer, whatever. I think the art style looks pretty cool. The gameplay could be limited. A lot of these survival games normally are. Last Oasis is very limited, very much a lack of ranged weapons and stuff like that. But we'll see. We'll see in the end. And that's all I can say, really, is, hey, this game exists. It has me excited for these reasons, has me worried for these reasons, and now I pass it off to you. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. But Frozen Flame is at least on my radar, and hopefully now it's on yours as well. I have been emailed by the developers. Hopefully they give me a key so that I can actually play it as soon as possible. I love trying out these games and, you know, showcasing them for you. But yeah, thanks guys for the Patreon donations so that I can actually buy these games when they come out and spend the time to actually do reviews and videos on these and just shout them out. I really want to give these indie developers just a little bit of attention, even though, you know, I'm a smaller YouTuber. I still, you know, I try to keep the hype alive. So, and thanks so much for that, guys. Thanks so much, friends and family. Anyways, like, subscribe, all the stupid YouTube stuff. Much love. Keep the hype alive, and I'll see you again next time.